Hey there folks, John here with Through My Lens, and today I'm coming to you with another firearms related video. Today we'll be looking at the CoolFire training system for the SIG P320 X5. Now this video is a supplement to the written photo review that can be found on Through My Lens. You'll find a link to the written photo review in the description box, and if you haven't already, I would really encourage you to read the photo review because it's got a lot more information and details than I'm going to share in the video. Again, this video is just a supplement designed to get a little bit of video footage out there to supplement the written photo review. Now, I first became aware of CoolFire training systems at the 2017 NRA annual meeting. Stopped by their booth and I got to try the system and I was really intrigued. At the time, they didn't have one made for the SIG P320 X5. The X5 was still pretty new at that time, but they did have the system available for several other training platforms, and I got to try it. And again, I was really intrigued because the system is designed to simulate the recoil that you get in live fire safely while you're doing dry fire. They call it CoolFire. And the reason they call it CoolFire is because you're using CO2 gases like what you're seeing in this CO2 cartridge to actually propel the slide back and forth to simulate recoil. Let me go ahead and show you how it works. So I do have the system installed in this P320 X5. I have a couple of them, but this one I'm using as a dedicated training gun. And you'll see visually that you can tell both by the color and by the CO2 marking on the barrel here that the system is installed. So it's pretty easy to see whether it's installed or not. In addition to the barrel, the system comes with a recoil spring that goes along with it. Once installed, you'll see on the end of the barrel there is a valve that you can use with this guy right here. This is a pretty standard CO2 cartridge that is used for many different purposes. I think airsoft folks use these quite a bit. And you'll see on the end of it, I have the CoolFire adapter for this particular CO2 cartridge that will allow it to interface with the valve on the end of the barrel so that you can charge it. See if I can do this on camera. And we are charged. And typically I find that in a single charge, you can get pretty good, probably about 10-12 shots before you'll start to notice some deterioration in the pressure that actually reciprocates the slide back and forth. So that can allow you to do a lot of different training cycles, different types of exercises if you can get 10 to 12 shots off before you need to really charge it. You can actually get more than that. It just won't have the full effect of the recoil. And in case you're wondering, I've been getting about 500 shots per container here, and these containers come in about they come in a packet of 2 for about $20. So let me see if I can show you on camera what the recoil is like. That's pretty substantial. That's probably about 70 to 80% of the force that an actual live centerfire round would produce if I had one in the gun and pulled the trigger. And again, it works just like the gun would if it were using live ammunition. Works really, really well. I'm really happy with it. And you may be able to hear and maybe even actually see that the recoil is starting to slow down a little bit. It's less forceful. Now it doesn't have enough pressure to actually reciprocate the slide. And at that point, you just use your gas cartridge and recharge it. So why would you use this? Well, you know, I am a sponsored shooter, but I'm not really a pro shooter. I don't have an ammo sponsor that ships me pallets and pallets full of ammo that I can go out and shoot hundreds of rounds at a time every day. I have another job that I have to go to, so time is also a consideration. And I'm lucky to get to the range once or twice a week to practice over and above the shooting that I do once or twice on the weekend. So that means I might go anywhere from 2 to maybe 6 days between training or live fire sessions where I'm shooting the gun. And I find between those sessions, those extended periods, that the muscle memory does fade. My ability to manipulate the gun and handle recoil does tend to recede and deteriorate after just a couple of days. So I find myself, particularly when I go out to do training exercises, I find myself usually about the first 50 rounds just trying to get back into the groove, get back warmed up, back to what I consider to be my baseline optimal level. If I had, I've always thought if I had unlimited ammo, I could stay at that level because I could shoot every day or even every other day to kind of maintain that peak performance, that level of readiness, if you will, of my body being able to manipulate the gun under recoil, as opposed to just using standard dry fire where there's no recoil. What I found is that using the CoolFire system, now I can supplement my live fire training sessions with 2 to 3 sessions of the CoolFire per week, simulate a couple hundred rounds, per session, and I'm maybe spending what I'd spend on a box of ammo to do that. You can, if you're getting basically 1,000 rounds for $20, I mean that's like 1/10 the cost of a case of ammo. So that's a pretty low cost to maintain, that readiness. And what I found is that my dry fire is so much more effective being able to train with recoil. I still train, with just straight dry fire sometimes, but again, supplementing a couple, 3 times a week with the CoolFire training system, I'm able to do things that I just couldn't do before, and I find myself really pushing ahead. I got this about 2 weeks before I shot the Area 5 Steel Challenge Championship, and in that match I took first place in my class, B class in Carry Optics, and I took second place in A class PCC, and I really think that using the CoolFire training system helped a bunch. Over the 8 stages of the Steel Challenge, my score improved by 5 full seconds from the year before. And honestly, I didn't feel like I shot very well. I felt like I could have done a lot better, but I felt a lot more prepared for the match and at a higher level of readiness because of just a couple of weeks, just a few sessions of using the CoolFire training system. I'm really excited to continue to use this product. Let me show you one of the things that makes it very nice. With the system, it comes with some of these little orange tabs that you can put in your magazines. Now you can use them with an empty magazine. I use these dummy rounds, which are inert. I use them to simulate the weight of rounds in my gun, and you can either put this on an empty magazine or, as I do, with dummy rounds. Okay, let me see if I can get this back on video here. Not the easiest thing to do. Well, here I'll just show you with the one that I have in the gun. And basically, what this guy allows happen is you can shoot the gun and it will not lock back. If you did it without this on an empty magazine, whenever the slide came back and there was no round in the magazine, the slide lock would pop up and the slide would lock back. But this prevents slide lock, which is just ingenious. It comes with a couple of these guys, and you can actually order additional ones pretty cheaply from CoolFire Training as well. So the kit that comes with the system has everything that you need to rock and roll, to train. I highly recommend the system. Let me go ahead and roll in some footage of me shooting the gun, shooting the P320 X5 with and without the system installed, so that you can see a back-to-back comparison of the recoil. Again, I think it's about 70 to 80%, depending on what kind of ammo that you're using, of recoil and force of actual live ammunition. Okay folks, we are out on the range and I'm going to do some testing here with the CoolFire training system for the P320 X5, and I'm going to compare it to some actual live fire recoil so that you can see that you really are getting a pretty reasonable facsimile of live fire recoil from the CoolFire training system. Okay, now we're going to compare the CoolFire's training system recoil with a live gun. This is my buddy's Glock 17. I actually forgot my other P320 X5 at home, but for the purposes of this test, this will do fine. This is, again, just a Glock 17 chambered at 9mm, and we're just going to see how the recoil compares, because again, it's about 70 to 80% of what you get in live fire recoil with a gun like this. So there you have it. The P320 X5 CoolFire training system compared to live fire in recoil, and again, really like the CoolFire training system and highly recommend it. Well, there you have it folks. There's the range comparison of the CoolFire training system with actual live fire. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Take care, God bless. We'll see you in the next one.